and welcome to the Post About Ghosts podcast. I'm your host, Chellemo, and with me is my wonderful co-host, Aidy.
Hello.
Hello, Aidy.
Hello.
What are you up to today?
Nothing. Doing this podcast.
Well, yeah, let's get you up to something. How about that?
That sounds good to me.
Just to kick off this episode, I wanted to let everybody know we have been following the Jason Hawes Conjuring House GoFundMe to see how that's going. And Jason has put up a new update on his YouTube channel, letting everybody know that that update would be the last update like that. Is kind of how he put it. He said the next update is going to be different and it's going to be full of a lot of information about what's been going on. So we are recording this on November 18th. So if you're listening to this, anything after that date that you hear should be letting us know some really exciting news about what's going to be happening with the Conjuring House. Yeah. And for us today, we are talking about the Hookman urban legend.
Yes.
The Hookman. So I was glad to know that he is similarly popular, or the story that I was told is similarly popular over there in the UK as well, because Bloody Mary wasn't quite as popular. Why don't you tell us a little bit about the Hookman?
Yeah. Well, as I heard it, which I didn't actually know that there was any other way of the story going, but it was, a young couple in a car on quote unquote Lover's Lane. Guy gets out to go to the bathroom, decides to walk a silly distance away from the vehicle instead of just being right next to it.
Right.
He then, depending on the version of the story, but like the version that I know, he goes out to use the bathroom. The girl hears a story on the radio about an escaped lunatic.
Yes, she does.
With a hook for a hand, which always, as I've always said, why would a lunatic asylum be giving people hooks for hands?
It doesn't seem like the responsible thing to do when you think about it, does it?
No. I think somebody, when they come up with the next version, needs to sort of refine that part of the story a bit to make it make a bit more sense. But yeah, she's in the car, hears a noise on the car. Now, in the story I know, the then police arrive, tell her to get out of the car.
Yeah.
And not to look back, because she hears, well, I've missed a bit out, she hears like a sound, like a scraping sound on the roof of the car.
Yeah.
And she does look back, and then it's like the body of her boyfriend is strung upside down on a tree, and the scraping sound is like his fingernails brushing against the roof of the car in the breeze, implying, of course, the Hookman had got him at some point.
Yeah, in the version that I heard, that's pretty much the same thing. She's sitting there waiting on him to come back from going to the bathroom, because apparently, and actually in the version I heard, I believe he might have even gone to town to get help because the car wouldn't start. Which that makes me wonder, why did she not just walk into town with him? Why did she have to wait on him to go to town and come back to get her? I would have been right there walking with you. I would not have sat there, but apparently she fell asleep sitting there, and all through the night she keeps being awakened by the sound of something like scratching or dragging. And it turns out to be that he's hanging there as well. So that's the way I heard it.
Yeah. I've heard that whole thing about them running out of gas.
Yeah.
Or the car breaking down. I've heard that variation over here as well.
I believe that's the way I heard it. It was later on, before I'd heard anything about maybe he had gone to the bathroom and heard that version, but there is a little bit of a different version.
Yeah.
This one seems to be tied with the old 1950s public service announcements, like if you do this bad thing, you will go to hell, kind of, those old black and white movies that they made the kids watch in school about Johnny is a good guy. He brushes his teeth every night. That kind of
Yeah,
junk.
yeah.
Yeah.
We had something over here which involved a young kid and his cat called Charlie, and something would happen, and then the cat would. It was animated. This cat was a bit like skittish looking, all like teeth and hair stuck on end and everything, and it would meow, 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 and then this little kid would go, like Charlie says, don't grab hold of an electric cable because you might get hurt, something like that.
Yeah, that's
And
it.
it was like a public information commercial for kids. I don't know whether they still do them these days. I've shown you some of the ones from over here, the live action ones of like the kid that goes, whose frisbee or ball goes into the power station,
Yeah.
and he goes in there and gets fried, and you actually like see the kid get like blown.
Wow.
Well, yeah, you've seen it. I've shown you them. They're like little
Yeah.
horror stories, and that's what we grew
And
up
I'm
on in
laughing.
like the late 70s and early 80s. That was what was on TV, like kid TV time as a warning. And you'd actually see a kid getting electrocuted and like his friend like screaming. I mean, I suppose it worked. I mean, I've never felt compelled to break into a power station to get a football back, but
There was a similar thing back in the 80s over here it was a series of commercials put out by the Jesus Christ Church of the Latter-day Saints over here. They were Mormons that put out these kind of public service announcements. There was one that would come on and say something like, all dressed up for the most important date of your life, and it's showing this guy and he's getting ready for what you assume is the prom,
oh
and
god,
he's
I couldn't
putting
see where
his
it's going.
tuxedo on, and he's putting his little cheap sunglasses on because it's the 80s and all that, and he's looking in the mirror and he's like, yeah, I'm looking good, and he just goes and lays down in a coffin.
I knew that was. I was gonna say, does he just then go and get into a coffin?
Yeah, he absolutely does. It terrified me when I was a teenager. I was like, what did I just see? But I guess it was supposed to mean you need to be on your best behavior and be ready to go see Jesus anytime because it could happen anytime. So that wasn't traumatic for me as a child at all.
Added to that, we used to have the whole thing about what to do in the event of a nuclear attack. And they would like regularly, like once every sort of, I think it was once every 3 months or maybe once every 6 months, they would test the air raid siren. No warning.
Lovely.
Yeah. It was like growing up in an age where everything was designed to absolutely terrify you.
I imagine the what would you do in the event of a nuclear war thing would be similar instructions as what my dad used to say you would do in the event of a tornado. You would sit down, put your head between your legs, and kiss your ass goodbye.
Yeah.
That was the position.
Just get vaporized, I think, would probably be what you would do. I mean, I'm
Yeah,
not really
probably.
too sure how putting a mattress up against an interior wall in the house and hiding under it.
To stop a nuclear blast.
It's going to help. I mean, it might do if you were like 50 miles away from the actual blast zone, but, if you were anywhere near one of them things going off, hey, sure.
Yeah.
I'll just get the mattress out. It'll be fine.
Yeah,
I'm sure that'll block all of the fallout afterwards as well. So,
Well, back to the Hook Man.
yeah.
This version of the story has to do with a Dear Abby column that came out on, funnily enough, November the 17th, 1960. I have the page that actually came from the Indianapolis News, and I'm going to go ahead and read you the little article here. This was supposedly sent in by a teenager named Jeanette.
Now, can I
I'm
just
gonna
clarify? I was going to say, can I just clarify that is Dear Abby like an an advice
It is an advice
thing?
column. Yeah,
Yeah.
she had a regular newspaper column. I believe the original Dear Abby was a lady named Abigail Van Buren,
Right.
and I'm really on the spot here. I used to read Dear Abby. I was a weekly reader of Dear Abby in the Indianapolis Star, but
Right.
I believe it passed down to her daughters, and I don't know if you have ever heard of Ann Landers.
No, I can't say that I have.
Ann Landers had a similar advice column in newspapers, and I believe that she's either the sister or the daughter. I want to say one of the daughters of Dear Abby. And the
Right.
other daughter continued the Dear Abby. I could be very wrong about that. I know Abigail Van Buren was the original, and I believe it was taken up by one of her daughters.
Right.
There you go. Anyway, so for the article itself, this came November 17th, 1960, from a teenager named Jeanette, who went on to say, Dear Abby, if you are interested in teenagers, you will print this story. I don't know whether it's true or not, but it doesn't matter because it serves its purpose for me. A fellow and his date pulled into their favorite lover's lane to listen to the radio and do a little necking. I'm guessing that's making out. It's a little
Yeah.
dated term. Yeah. The music was interrupted by an announcer who said there was an escaped convict. This is a convict in that
Mm.
area who had served time for rape and robbery. He was
Wow.
described as having a hook instead of a right hand. The couple became frightened and drove away. When the boy took his girl home, he went around to open the car door for her, and then he saw a hook on the door handle. I
Ooh.
don't think I will ever park as long as I live, and I hope this does the same for other kids. I'm wondering if Jeanette might be someone on staff.
Sounds like it. It's
Yeah.
also really weird. Like, what advice are you? Is Dear Abby supposed to give in that situation?
Yeah.
Is she going to give advice on what to do if an escaped convict slash serial killer is happening to be lurking around?
Yeah, that's going to be interesting. I wish I saw her response to this in the paper. It doesn't have it here. It just has the what the girl wrote.
My advice would be always make sure you pack in a 357 Magnum. It's got great stopping power, and it probably would be quite useful against your common garden weirdo, pervo, serial killer type person. That would be my advice.
Yeah. Well, when I looked into this version, I guess the intended and for the time period 1960, I'm going to say this is probably right. The intended thought outcome of this would be to make teenagers think that if this couple would have stayed around making out in the car instead of going home like they were supposed to, they might have been attacked by the hook man who had gotten so close that he was able to get his hook on the door just as they were pulling away to go home like good kids. Another thing that I found out about the 1950s version of the hook man is the hook seems to be crafted into something that looks more like the communist sickle. Because
Yeah.
back then, of course, everybody in America was afraid of communism and they associated communism with degenerate behavior. Which I guess back then, driving out in the country and making out would be degenerate behavior. So if you did that sort of thing, you were likely to turn into a communist.
Wow.
Yeah, yeah. So there's all that. So the hook might be a manifestation of the American fear of communism in the 1950s. That might be how that mental patient actually got his hands on the hook.
He was a communist.
Yeah, I think so. So there you go.
Right.
I found a wiki article on the Texarkana Moonlight murders of, let's see, I believe it was 1940, yeah, 1946 on Morris Lane in Miller County, Arkansas. It looks like maybe right in the area of Bowie County, Texas. There was a murder of a couple who had been parking. Oh, it looks like there's a series of attacks. Yeah, so the first attack was on February 22nd. A guy named Jimmy Hollis and his girlfriend, Mary Jean Larry.
Now, is that the one where the first reported victims actually survived?
That was Zodiac.
Oh, was that?
And I'm trying,
Right.
yeah, this seems to be something different, similar kind of thing. I
Yeah.
know the first Zodiac killing, which is different than this, the first survived. Both of them
Right.
survived. This one, Hollis and Larry ordered out of the car. Blah, blah, blah. Law enforcement repeatedly challenged Larry's account and believed that she and Hollis knew the identity of their attacker and were covering for him. You know, that seems very similar to things that I've read about the Zodiac. We'll come back and we will do a new episode on these two serial killers at some point, because there's a lot of things on this article that I'm seeing that I had always attributed to the Zodiac. So it might be fun in the future to take another look at these and
Yeah.
separate those out and just see what's what. But supposedly the Hook Man started to become popular around the United States after the Texarkana Moonlight murders.
Yeah.
So there you go on that.
Right. But it's been popularized as well. I mean, the film I think of is I Know What You Did Last Summer,
Yeah.
because there's the killer in that uses a hook, and they actually recount. There's a scene in the film where they actually recount the urban legend, and they actually discuss the different versions of it. And then, of course, there's Candyman. He kills people with a hook as well.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
you know, I know that was a different inspiration. It was it's a different take, a different story, but just I always think these myths and legends and stories and what have you, they all have some kind of interconnecting idea.
Yeah. And, I was telling about my slumber party and my dad with the old man mask coming to the window. My mom borrowed a little bit of this story herself to scare all of us
Yeah.
girls. She collected us into the kitchen, and there was no hook in this version. There was a butcher knife. My dad had it, and he was standing outside the window. But my mom gathered all of us at my slumber party and said, "Listen, girls, I just want to let you all know I just heard on the radio that there's an escaped lunatic from the state hospital running around town, and I just need to count you all and make sure you're all here." So she's like, 1, 2, 3, and the whole time my dad's outside the window scratching on the screen, and she says, "Oh, what is that noise?" Turns around, puts the flashlight in the window. There, my dad is outside the window with a butcher knife and old man mask on. 15 girls screaming, Kool-Aid in the air. It was awesome, good times.
Yeah.
So,
oh God, that would have been hilarious.
Oh, it was. It was hilarious. There were girls still talking about that in high school, and I think it was my 11th birthday. This happened.
All the time, the escaped lunatic was your dad.
It was my dad. Yeah, that made a lot of things make a lot of sense that night. So, yeah. What else you got? Got any Hookman stuff, or are we ready to move on to one question?
I think we're ready to move on to one question, because, like I say, I heard the story very similar to yours.
Yeah.
I wonder if it changes. I wonder if the variations are depending on what age the story is recounted, because ours would have been around the same time.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
And I wonder if they put like different takes on it.
Yeah, like with the communists.
Yeah, like that wouldn't really work today, would it? I mean, you know. he wouldn't quite have the same thing going with it.
I'd hate to even say what it might be today in today's politically charged environment. So we'll
Yeah.
let that one go.
Well, do you want me to kick off with the one question? Because it is actually related to the subject at hand.
That would be marvelous. Why don't you do that?
So, okay, so mine is what would you do, I believe, this week.
It is.
So, my question to you is what would you do if you heard that an escaped lunatic had escaped, obviously, because they're an escaped lunatic, on the radio, but I'd already left the car to go and get help. So I'd already been gone for, say, like 10, 15 minutes. Then you heard it. What would you do? Would you stay put in the car, lock the doors, stay put? Or would you try and come after me to try and warn me, or even, safety in numbers?
Well, okay, I tell you what. Now let me get this straight. I hear on the radio after you've gone away to do whatever you went away to do.
Well, it's to go and get the car fixed, because I'm telling you right now, if I was just going to relieve myself, I am not walking 10 minutes away from the goddamn car. I'm going around to the back of the vehicle, the side of the vehicle,
That's
just
it.
outside. I'm just doing it there. I am not going into bushes in the dark, woodland in the dark. No, I'm seriously just not into that
Not
kind of
gonna happen.
bizarreness. No, it's not. You're going to
All right,
know if
well,
something's happened to me.
If I'm there by myself and
Yeah.
I hear on the news, on the car radio news, that there's an escaped lunatic that they found, the first thing that I would probably do would be see if you need a place to hide. Because, of course, you would be the escaped lunatic that they have found.
Well, yeah.
But no, oh gosh, I am going to say that what would probably happen would be similar to what I was talking about before, where I would just freeze. I don't think I would be able to come out of the car. I would probably try to make myself as small as possible inside the car,
Yeah.
but I would probably be frozen there through the hearing part until I saw something. Now, if I saw something, that might be different.
Yeah.
I might be able to be inspired to move if I actually saw something. That would be interesting, because I'll tell you why I know this. Because one time a bat got loose in my bedroom, came out of the attic, and you know how I feel about bats.
Yeah.
Well, here I am. I'm sitting on my bed. It's in my bedroom, flying around the light. And the light is in between my bed and the door. So I'm literally going to have to run past this bat, right underneath it, and out the door to get away, which is what I ultimately did. I was able to collect myself enough to do a 1, 2, 3 go and just run for the door.
Yeah.
So I was able to get away in that situation because I saw something. So I'm gonna have to go with that. That is probably what would happen. I
Right.
would stay frozen in place until actually something came at me, and then it would be a fight or flight kind of thing. I would probably throw open the door and just run for it, try to get away. I don't
Yeah.
even know if I would be trying to find you at that point. I would just be trying to get enough distance between us that he might be confused about which way I went. I would try to get lost, basically.
Yeah.
And then make a plan from my hiding spot as to what I would do next.
Right.
So, there
Yeah.
you go.
So the bottom line is I'm getting left for dead. Splendid.
Right. So now I've got to follow this up. Because one of the stories, I don't want to point it out, because if somebody wants to go and look at some of the short horror on YouTube, there are dozens of Hookman stories that people have made, and some of them are pretty good.
Yeah, there was a nice little live action one, wasn't
Yeah.
it? It was about, what was it, about 3-4 minutes long?
Yeah, I think they're about 3 minutes a piece. Yeah.
Yeah.
in one of those, there's a version where the guy doesn't go to the bathroom, he doesn't go to get help. He actually is watching this person in the woods, staring at them, and finally says, "You know what? I don't know what this guy's problem is, but we're trying to have some alone time here. I'm going to go see what this guy's up to." And he gets out of the car to go into the woods, or, it just at the edge of the woods where this stranger is supposedly watching them, to go confront him.
Yeah.
Now, put yourself in this guy's spot. Are you going to get out
No.
of a car that you could just drive away in and go confront a weirdo with a hook in the woods and go?
No, not without the aid of, again, a high-powered weapon of some description.
Yeah.
No, I'm not. I'm not getting into somebody else's business unless I'm in danger myself. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it seems like too easy to just pull away.
Yeah, I'm just getting out of there.
Yeah, me too. I would highly suggest that.
Yeah.
If I was the girl, I would, and the guy's like, I'm gonna go see what. I would be like, I don't think you are.
No,
That's not
that
happening.
doesn't sound like a good plan, does it?
No, because if something happens to him, you know that you're next anyway.
Yeah.
So, yeah, not
Yeah.
going to happen. All right. You ready for mine? You know me, I'm stepping way off the path.
Yeah.
This is totally unrelated, but it is a what do you believe question.
It is.
Now, my question for you is this. Do you believe that animals can see things that we can't see? Now, I'm not asking you to commit to what it is that they see and say that it's ghostly or anything like that. Just when animals, I know you've seen them do that weird thing where they just stand there and they're staring at something. And sometimes they even follow it with their eyes, or maybe they bark at something in the corner of the room. Do you believe that there is something actually there that we can't see?
Yeah. Well, what it is, though, I don't know. But animals have different the different heightened senses that's augmented with their, say, their vision or whatever. They see different to we do. Like, they don't have the same type of visual acuity that we have. So, yeah, I think they could probably see things that might be visible on whatever part of the spectrum they're able to see on.
Yeah.
I mean,
Did any of your animals ever?
yeah, I had a couple of dogs that would stare at the wall. And you're like, what are you staring at? That used to be like really freaky.
Yeah, they all do it. And cats do it.
Yeah, well, they have different things that their vision can see. They're like different, like I say, different levels. Like, aren't some snakes? Don't they have like thermal? And they see things thermally.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, I don't think it's. I don't have any doubts that they can see things. I mean, birds, for example, have a much greater ability to see things at a distance. They're like having that sharp visual abilities that they have.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't see there being much argument that I would have against the idea that they could possibly see things that aren't there. It could be like just something that they can see. You would probably see something out of the corner of your eye, but they have the ability to actually lock on and see the thing.
Right.
Where you would lose, once you move your head,
Sure.
you would then lose sight of it. They might actually still be able to see it while looking directly at something that isn't moving. I mean, a lot of our vision is based, what gets our attention is something that's moving. That's
Yeah.
what get that's you if something moves out of the corner of your eye and then you turn to look. Like animals have a different field of vision, don't they? Like some
Yeah.
animals have a much wider field of vision, so they might not actually be moving their head to look at something, but they can still see it
Right.
without having to move because their field of vision is different and things like that. So
Yeah.
I do believe that they can see things that necessarily the human eye just isn't attuned
Yeah.
naturally to being able to see.
Very interesting.
Yeah.
I know it's creepy as hell when they do it,
Yeah. Oh,
especially
yeah.
when it's at night and you're alone. And
Yeah.
that is when they always tend to do that stupid stuff that
Mm.
scares me.
Yeah. They'll just be laying there and then they'll look at something and bark,
Yeah.
and it's like,
It's like, oh, thanks for
what?
that.
What are you barking at? And
Yeah.
they're almost like saying, "Can't you see it?" And it's like, no. It's like, gee, thanks.
I think it was Belle, the cat, Ashton's
Yeah.
cat. One day it was acting really weird. And this is back when Lisa and I were watching scary stuff on TV. She was a big fan of ghost hunting stuff too. And we had
Yeah.
our little AVP recorder. And the cat was acting really weird. And I decided to do an EVP session just to see if I could find out if there was something interacting with the cat. So Lisa and we're there in the bedroom with the cat. The cat's acting weird. I put the EVP on and just asked to the void, "Are you messing with my cat?" And the EVP that I got was a man with a British accent whispering, "I don't like cats." I
Weird.
will find that. I will find this. I know I have it. I have the audio file somewhere. If I can find it, I will put that up in the show notes just to let people hear it and see what they think. But yeah, I did get that one time. So I am definitely an optimist for there being something there when they act weird like that.
Now, will that be on Frankentop? You have to tell the listeners what Frankentop is. It's the
Oh,
greatest computer ever.
gosh. Yeah. So I have a laptop. I actually passed this on to my son. My son has possession of Frankentop now, but
Is this the same son that got electrocuted by
no, this is
Frankentop?
this is the other one. No,
Right.
this is the other one. But I had a laptop and I took it apart one time to clean the fans and things inside. And let's just say when it was all done, there were many, many spare parts, a lot of broken clips that I didn't realize actually held the laptop in place. I just I just pulled the thing apart, broke plastic and everything else. So when it went back together, it no longer stayed together. You could literally use it and lift the keyboard up and look inside it at the same time. So
Yeah. And
yeah, yeah.
also, didn't the keyboard cease to work? So you actually had a. Am I right with that one? Did you have an external keyboard plugged into it
I
at some
had
point?
an external keyboard, and if you remember, the backlight went out, so I had an external monitor plugged into it. So basically, the only thing left laptop was the motherboard and hard drive,
That,
probably, and the RAM.
yeah, the power supply unit that would
Yeah.
electrocute you if you weren't
Yeah.
careful, which is why, because of all of this, it got the nickname Frankentop.
Yeah, yeah. No, I don't think the file is on that because I did move all those files to flash drives when
Oh,
I
it's
gave the laptop to my son. So, but I
probably.
will find it.
So is your other son has been briefed on the fact that he could get an electric shock off this thing if he's not careful?
Oh, I think he's seen his brother's scars.
Right.
So,
Wonderful.
oh my goodness, is that it?
Well, from my side, I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. What I would like to do before we go today, I know this one is a little bit shorter. I think maybe a weekly hour and a half might be a little bit more than people want to invest in. We're trying to tweak this thing to suit our listeners. We definitely want you to get the show you want. So, gonna try to shoot for episodes between 45 minutes and an hour and see how that goes. And what we need you to do is to send us your stories.
Yeah.
We would love to tell your ghost story on the Post About Ghost podcast. Just let us know if it's fiction or nonfiction. We want it all. Best way to send us your story is to email stories@postaboutghost.com. Like I said, tell us your story. Let us know if it's fact or fiction, and we'll take it from there. We really appreciate you, early listeners. You are going to be a big part of how this podcast develops. You know, we are in our infant days. We want to make the best ghost podcast there is for you guys. If you want to follow us, we are postaboutghost.com. All our social media links are there in the top right corner of the website. We have a Facebook page. We have a YouTube account that's not got a lot going on just yet. And then I do most of my social mediaing on X these days. So it's posts ABT Ghost, because Elon Musk won't let me have one more letter so that I can make an account called Posts About Ghosts on X. No, I had to shorten the about to ABT, but just be mindful of that. If you want to follow us on X, it's Posts ABT Ghosts on X. I think that's a wrap on this one.
I do too.
You guys have a wonderful week.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye.